Alright, my friends. So, War Thunder on the PlayStation 4. It's officially meant to be coming out tomorrow. Well, depending where you are in the world. It's supposed to be coming out on Friday, a midnight launch over here in Europe. But it seems like actually that's not fully the case. The servers seem to be online and there's a number of people actually playing War Thunder on the PS4 right now. I don't know if they're playing on American PS4s or if they were using early pre-orders of the PS4 over here in Europe. I have a feeling it's probably a mixture of both, but there's already some people streaming on twitch.tv of War Thunder, because that's actually one of the components with the PlayStation 4. You'll be able to actually stream directly from it, although I think what these people are doing is they're actually using gamer cards to stream their content, what they're actually playing in War Thunder. So it's kind of interesting to see these people who have just accessed this game streaming it on twitch.tv and seeing how they're getting along. Lots and lots of newbies and people just starting out for the first time. So everyone's at rank 1, brand new sort of game. And that's actually as expected, because what's meant to happen, and I found out about this just recently, having looked up at some interviews with the devs at War Thunder and also some general information on the game, is that, well, I mean, we know that people who play on War Thunder on the PS4 are going to be starting new accounts anyway, but what's actually going to happen is that there's not going to be cross-platform support for a while. Okay, I was thinking that we would be playing with PlayStation 4 people straight away as soon as the midnight launch comes out, but apparently not. There's not going to be cross-platform support for a while. It's meant to come in the future, but who knows what that means. Probably soon. TM, trademark. But that's kind of frustrating. I don't like how they say, yes, we're going to do these features, but and then over the course of time, they sort of change their meanings and what's actually happening. Maybe they run out of time or something, but it's a little bit irritating. But lo and behold, we're not going to be playing with PS4 people straight at launch, unfortunately. And they're going to be separated from us. And what's actually going on is that, you know how we're on version 1.35? Yeah. Well, on the PS4, they're on 1.36 right now. Which means that, yeah, they've got a whole bunch of different changes. They've got a new user interface, they've got new planes added, new maps and whatnot, and what you're actually seeing in your background is one of these streamers, some footage from their stream. It's including footage from the new maps, footage of the user interface, and there's a lot of new planes. In fact, I'm also going to be showing you guys screenshots and discussing my opinions, I guess, on this new ranking system that we're soon all going to be having to live with. It's a major change on the current ranking system. But I should probably let you guys know right now that I don't think that these trees, these pictures of the full trees aren't complete, because I've noticed a few planes missing. For example, when I was looking at the Japanese, so I don't think they're 100% up to scratch of what it's going to be like in 1.37, but these are the tech trees from the 1.36. Alright, so we know that there's going to be a major change with the progression tree. In fact, there's not going to be levels anymore. It's not going to be level 1, or actually reserve to 0 to 20. It's going to be now just 5 ranks, and everything is going to be mixed in those ranks, separated out according to their more historical aspects, I guess you could say. So you have the Jet Age, which is tier 5, and that's pretty much strictly the Jet Age. You've got the other tiers are pretty much just prop planes. The tier 1 has biplanes and also some monoplanes, and that's something that I'm going to have to actually talk to you guys about, just how obscured and how kind of it doesn't really make sense, that tier, to me. But there's also, in terms of historical aspects, what they're doing is, if there's any planes that are from an earlier period, but they're stronger, quite strong, in relation to, say, a plane built in a later period, but is a weaker plane, then they've sort of mixed it around. So for example, if a plane was developed later on and it's a weak plane, chances are it might be actually in a lower tier than a plane that is developed later on historically, but is stronger. Or should I say vice versa, that if it was developed earlier but is stronger, then it would actually appear later in the ranks. That's what I mean. So we'll go through all these tech trees here for the various nations, and we'll discuss, I guess, the various points on them. The first one is the USSR. And I think one general thing that I want to point out with a lot of these trees is that, well, I think they're generally fine. They kind of feel just about the same as the current tech trees in War Thunder. As in, when you go out into a match, chances are you're pretty much going to come against the same planes as you normally would, apart from perhaps Tier 1. Tier 1 is so convoluted now. It's not just going to be biplanes versus biplanes, and maybe the occasional monoplane like a Hurricane or something like that, or an Ishak. It seems like there's going to be a lot of monoplanes, and looking at the footage from this guy's stream that's in the background, yeah, you're coming across some very big planes. For example, he was using biplanes and attacking H6K4s. I mean, yeah, good luck. That would be fun to take on. And there's also, like HE112s? I mean, that's powerful stuff. That is cannons, and that's taking on a biplane. So Tier 1 looks really convoluted. You've got biplanes mixed in with monoplanes that have cannons on them, and that'll be a pain in the butt, especially if you're biplane. You'll get destroyed, wrecked. But it also seems like they've taken out a number of low-tier planes, like reserve planes, because what I can see from these icons, if you click these icons like the I-15, chances are you'll only see like 2 planes or something around there, and under that category. So where did all the reserve planes go? I have no idea. Does this mean that if we've already researched it, I suppose we haven't researched it because it comes default, but if we got stuff researched on it and we've already had access to it and our crews were trained on it, does that mean we'll be able to keep it even after they take it out? Well, I hope so. At least I would imagine so as well. And then anyone in the future who tries to use them, and if they newly join the game, they probably won't have access to it. At least that's what I think would happen and makes most sense to me. So overall, we can say that Tier 1 seems kind of strange, kind of peculiar. Everything else, so Tier 2, 3, 4, it really feels like, and even Tier 5, it really feels like what it is in the game's current state. You'd really be expected to see all those planes using one of those particular planes. So with the USSR in particular, I don't think there's actually anything that much to note apart from, actually, well, there is one thing to note. The premium plane. Look, the Focke-Wulf 190D9. Yes, it is out in Tier 4, and take a look at this. It costs 7,420 Golden Eagles. Holy moly. Seriously, holy moly. I mean, the German LA5FN, if you thought that was expensive at just over 5,000, well, Gaijin added one, that's 7,420. I always was thinking that this German LA5FN was like a way for Gaijin to test if people would actually spend that much money on a premium plane. And maybe if that theory was correct, then yeah, it seems like a lot of people did do it because they introduced the Focke-Wulf 190D9 at a very expensive price. I don't think it's that amazing of a plane as well. I think it's only got, and I'm saying this all in relativity, it's only got 2 times 20 millimeter cannons and 2 times 13 millimeter cannons, so it's not like a absolutely stupid amount of cannons. It's just kind of standard, really. 4 on a Focke-Wulf isn't a whole lot comparing like some other Focke-Wulfs where you get like 6 cannons, for example. But yeah, that's what it is. It gets some awesome bonuses anyway. So that's it for the Russians. If we go on over to the Americans, things have been mixed and matched around. You can expect if you're in a a reserve plane for the Americans. You'll be matched up along the sides of your Hawk brothers, which is great. You know, those things turn like crazy. So have fun taking those on if you're in arcade battle. But one thing that I noticed is that they've actually completely changed the ranking of the XP38G. I mean, nobody was using that plane in its current state just because it was a boom and zoomer, but it just had so much problems dishing out damage with, I think, what was a single cannon, and also it was just sort of like flying a block. It was so hard to actually be maneuverable with it that people would just end up killing you if you tried to dogfight them. So now it's in a lower tier, and that's both the premium and also the standard version. But notice this, the XP50 has also been taken down to tier 2. Which, that just doesn't make sense to me. Before, that was like extremely like highly ranked, the XP50, and it was damn good for its tier as well. It wasn't terrible. I mean, the nice thing about the XP50 is it has an amazing climb rate. It can just climb straight up, and you'll be one of the highest in the entire match. It's really good at taking down bombers because of how easy it's able to climb into the sky. So it's kind of funny to see it drop down to tier 2. I don't exactly know why. I mean, it does die quickly, and a lot of people complain about how it dies quickly, but to drop it down to tier 2 and mixed in with all these other planes, alright. Whatever you say, Gaijin. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. XP55 is at tier 3. I guess that's alright. And you also have, take a look at this, the Spitfire Mark 9. I thought they took out the Spitfire Mark 9. Why is it sitting there at rank 4? Is it going to be coming back into the game? I don't know, maybe. But it's sitting at rank 4. Maybe it's just a present representation just to show you where it's going to be. But maybe it's going to be locked and you won't be able to buy it. I don't know. Maybe you will be able to buy it. Maybe they've balanced it out. But that's what it's going to be. If we go over to the British, again, same story with the tier 1s. You've got lots of bombers, as even some heavier ones like Beauforts and Blenheims, available from rank 1, which I guess is cool. In rank 2, looks alright to me. Rank 3, okay, I don't know about this. Boomerang Mark 1 and Boomerang Mark 2. I think those before were like, what, tier 4 or 5 or something like that in our current patch, but it's going to be now mixed in with Spitfire Mark 9 and Typhoon Mark 1B late. I mean, those have massive amounts of cannons, and also Bullfighter Mark 21 and Bullfighter 10. What the fuck? I don't know if the Boomerang will be able to compete, but apparently that's the more appropriate place for it to go, and yeah. That's pretty much it for the Brits that I had to take notice of. Everything else seems to be quite normal to me. There's yeah, that's pretty much it. They're also adding in a new Tempest. I think that's gonna have like twin. Oh god, if I'm trying to remember, like 45mm cannons. Oh man, that sounds ridiculous. If we go over to the Germans now, at tier 1. They've got those HE112s, as I mentioned previously. They've also got BF110s, JU87s, all that fun stuff. At Tier 2, seems alright to me. Tier 3, seems okay to me. And this is what I mean, that it doesn't seem like... Although there's this big change in how the system is going to work, it doesn't seem like it's going to kill the game, if anything. Because it looks like a lot of the matchmaking is going to still use the same planes unless you're at rank 1. Because that's just going to really be strange in showing off or using a whole bunch of different planes. With the Japanese, you got tons of new planes added, but as I was saying earlier as well, I don't think these tech trees are complete. I feel like I'm missing a few planes here. Especially the ones that they noted down in the preliminary patch notes. But I can't see those. No, I can't see them. But that's what the Japanese look like, and they seem alright. They're still kind of stuck at The Jet Age. I mean, just look how small Tier 5 is. It is absolutely tiny. There's one little Kai Hunt 200 just sat at the bottom there, all by himself. Now, this new system is going to be different from the old one, where the old one, if you leveled up, you could unlock various planes at that level. It could be bombers, fighters, whatever. Now they've done a more World of Tanks style system where you progress down the line. Now, you don't have to unlock all the planes in one rank to go to the next rank. I think they gave an example in the developer diary that if you unlock 3 planes in one rank, then you unlock the next rank. But of course, you have to follow the tree down using the arrows. So you have to go from plane to plane to plane, following that tree that you're trying to work your way down towards. And you have to level up individual equipment in that plane first. It doesn't have to be all of them. It just has to basically go through the same ranking system with equipment. And then you progress onto your next plane. So that is pretty much it for showing you guys the new tech trees and whatnot. What is my opinion on it? Well, to be honest, I'm actually usually quite welcoming of change. I think the last system was good, but this is apparently what they always envisioned this game to be, using a system like this. So let's go with it. Doesn't mean it's terrible. Doesn't mean it's great, but it seems to make a lot of sense. So yeah, it's not that bad. I'm sure it's gonna work out quite well. I just have no idea how tier 1s are gonna work. And I keep on saying tier 1 as if like all I play is tier 1. That's the most important thing to me. It's not. It's just I'm thinking about balance and the biplanes. Think about the newbies. The newbies, if they just get thrashed immediately, they might not want to come back. But yeah, that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next one, this is Krebsy, and I'll catch you all later.